it's like trust me, but go, yeah, trust.
Oh, that is real old school, you know.
Old school, it's
yeah. Trust.
Yeah. Or they go scheme, and then I'll still drop a chief. I'll probably just cotch on something, like just cotch or where's a?
That's
that's so old school. A cotch. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I didn't know that you was a secondary school teacher.
I was in East London.
Yeah, because you're from East, isn't it?
Yeah.
What part of East are you from?
Like Forest Gate near Stratford Way. So I taught in like Forest Gate.
Proper East London.
Yeah. And I still see the girls that I taught. So funny enough, I was a Sarah Bennell girl in Stratford, Rokeby Boys, and I sort of taught in the rival girls' school actually. So my best mate Natalie is just like, I still want to run them over. You know, like, but yeah, it was fun.
What made you get into teaching?
Well, I always loved English. When just growing up, books were my thing and I loved it. And for some reason, when I left school, I didn't go and do an English degree and then ended up having a child. I had my first baby when I was quite young, you know, just a bit lost. And I was a little bit like, you know, become one of the baby mums after school. And I thought that weren't going to be me, but, you know, it was that. And I was in sort of temporary accommodation with her and on my own with her. And I bumped into my A-level English teacher. And she sort of said to me, what are you doing? I was like, I just had a bang. You know, and she said, why aren't you doing an English degree? And it was sort of such a sort of telling off. And my housing officer at the time, who was really helpful at the mother and baby sort of hostel, she said, she helped me work out how I could go and do my English degree. And without, you know, sort of, well, let's face it, messing with my benefits too much. But I went back and did my English degree and I loved it. And then I did a placement in a school and I thought, God, this is it. And I think there was part of me being a teacher, you know, growing up, like if we had a project like, tell us about your mum and dad, my mum would be like, who wants to know? Do you know what I mean? But that sort of thing of like it being very clear lines that if my daughter that I was raising said, you know, what does your mum do for a living? My mum's a teacher. And you know, that it felt like, it felt legit. It felt like I was doing the right thing. So, and I just loved it. I can't even say anything other than that. I taught locally. I loved my students and yeah, it was just great until it weren't.
Because, you know, like secondary school, I say like secondary school is, you're kind of having to manage like teenagers, you know, but also you're also having to, I feel like you've got to manage feelings as well.
Oh my God.
Because they're going through it especially at that part of their life. You've got early adolescence, which is like from, let's say like 11, 12.
Yeah.
And then where they really think they're adults at like 15, 16.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? How was that for you, like being a teacher?
Well, there's a joke in teaching when people say, what do you teach? And people say children. And it's like, ha, yeah, good one. But it is that your teaching is about connection. And I never liked school. And I never really got school. And I was like a bit wired and wild. I was bright because I liked to read and I got good results without much effort, you know. But I kind of understood the kids that didn't get it. And I was ahead of year quite quickly that takes care of the pastoral side, because I'm not trying to make myself a saint, but I got it. I got why these teachers that wanted to play the big sort of authority figure didn't really work with them, because sometimes you'd watch a kid come into school, you know, it's like, and, you know, they've got their 9:05 and then they're down their throat. And I think, you know, you look at a kid and think, I can tell from their shoes the effort it probably took to get themselves to school even 5 minutes late, even at all. So I always say you meet them where they are. Same as comedy, you got to meet them where they are. And actually, I always taught like that. I always taught them as kids that are going through stuff, and it's a wild time. You couldn't pay me, even with the waistline I had back when I was a teenager, you couldn't pay me to do it again, because it's ugly and it's messy. And, you know, if you spark a little bit of love for the subject, the rest is easy. Do you know what I mean? So that was the skill, really. That is the skill, more than I know about English and nouns and pronouns and, you know, prepositional phrasing and character. That's not it. What would make you know things? Like I'd even say sometimes, I don't know, like if you're teaching structure of a poem, I don't get it. Like, what do you mean by structure? I said, all right, let's say you sent a long text to a boy. really long text, laid out your feelings, and he texts you back 6 hours later with "K cool." They're like, "Ugh." And I said, "Well, why is that bad?" They went, "Well, because you've done all that big long bit and he's done that little bit, plus there's a huge gap." I said, "That's structure." Do you know what I mean? So you go, that is, you see them where they are and they get it. Oh, I was a cool teacher, you know.
Do you think you was a cool teacher? Because you give me the vibes that you was a cool teacher, and the reason why I asked that is because growing up when I was in school, the teachers that I could connect with are the teachers that I could immediately relate to.
Yeah.
That felt like, you know, my drama teacher, I still talk to her, and I have another drama teacher, Mr. Harris, that I still talk to him. But they're the teachers that felt like real people.
Yeah.
And then there was a teacher second.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because that is what it is. It's relationship. Because the reason you're probably friends, they saw you, and you're not an idiot. You know when you're just, you know when someone hasn't seen you, and teachers are stressed. You know, teachers have a tough time of it, and I fear in the state of things, teachers have less and less space or capacity to, you know, kind of really see children and allow for their differences and allow for their individual talent, because the pressure's on them and they've got very few resources and a lot of pressure to get results. So the kids get less and less individual attention and time. And you know, I taught for 10 years and I felt the kind of, you know, how tough it was getting. I mean, there'll be some kids that go, "Oh yeah, I was Miss Taylor. Miss Taylor was so rude, man." Because you got to be tough on some classes. But, you know, I think I was cool in the respect that I genuinely was interested in them and wanted results, and, you know, and to help some kids out. But, you know, there'll be loads of kids that were like, "No, she's just all shouting, miss," down the corridor. So there was all that. But yeah, there's kids that have come to my shows and stuff like that. And yeah, so I think I was quite cool. In short, yeah, I was probably quite cool.
Was you, growing up before you became a teacher, because I feel like with East London, I grew up in South London, but East London had such a melting pot of a community. But it's almost like the originator of, like, you know, like Cockney rhyming slang. Do you know what I mean? Like markets and stuff.
Yeah.
It feels like it always started in East London. Even if you look back at it, like history and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So like when you look at like East London, it's definitely like, you know, you think of like, you still got like Spitalfields. Is it Spitalfields Market? No, what's the fish one?
Billingsgate.
Yeah,
that's on its way out.
And stuff like that
and
as well.
Smithfields, yeah.
But and then you hear of like, you know, the past with the craze and everything. But even to this day, like East London still feels like it looks like London in some ways.
Yeah,
Do you know
I know
what
what you mean. All my South London family always say, it's covered in dust, isn't it? A bit. It's covered in dust. That's what they joke. But there is, because obviously the docks and things like that, and industry and factories. I mean,
It's
South London's positively leafy compared. Do you know what I mean? You think of the big parks and wide streets, and it's mad, isn't it? Like the East London I grew up in the 80s, like there was like meat wagon police vans at the school at the end of my street because there was race riots. Do you know what I mean? It was like where BNP was coming up, and then like between black and white, then black and white versus Asian, and then it all, because there's such a strong immigrant communities. And what I mean is like there's layers and layers and layers, because it's so funny, because I think people can theorise about their sort of prejudices, but in East London people are met with their prejudices and have to get over them quite quickly. Do you see what I mean?
Of course,
so
man.
It's funny to be like, oh, then it would be, especially because I taught in a Catholic girls' school, and that often reflects the immigrant community as well. So in the 50s it was all Irish, and then you come into the 80s and it was all Caribbean, and then it moved into all West African, and then it started being South American and Eastern European, and so then it would be like everyone, oh, hang on, it's all, you know, it's all like, it's not Tolu, it's Victoria. Do you know what I mean? And sort of thing. And so and you think of music, you know, the grime scene and everything. That,
man,
you know, come on, Stormzy, you're just late to the party. No, just don't. But like but that came out of like, you know, like Rex Club and like, you know, where jungle and garage, and then just pirate radio getting on the mic, and then that became its own thing. Do you know what I mean? And so it is a great place. It's a great place to know yourself, really, because you're faced with everyone and everything, and even where I live, it's getting gentrified and I mug it off, but it's always been quite cool as well. Like actually, it's all good. I don't mind.
Because I feel like East London was like, when the gentrification started happening, it was East London first.
Yeah, Hackney.
Like, yeah, you could see your Hackney and then your Shoreditch, Dalston, Hoxton. And in South, it was like, I don't know.
Peckham.
If this is...
Peckham's working hard.
Oh, yeah. Peckham, it's, you know what I mean? There was no Franks or no Bussey building back then. But like, did you feel like East London gave you like a lot of character, but also your humour as well? Because I feel like people from East are quite funny.
Yeah.
Like, you lot are quite loud. Do you know, like South, we go everywhere.
Yeah.
But East Londoners, you lot are quite loud. We know you're in the room. Do you know what I mean? Like,
do you know what's so funny? Every East Londoner would say that about a South Londoner, because a lot of my family are South. Yeah, because and it's so funny, but it's loud in a different way. I think South Londoners have got a little bit of gloss about them. They turn up and it comes to impress. I think we're loud, but we're like, we have this loudness, but I don't know. East Londoners have a bit more ownership of their loudness. Yeah, I feel like we're a bit like. Yeah, like, come on, South, we're here. You're like, chill out. We're not a country, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, but East is almost like you're like the original Cockneys. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's some bite in everything. You've got to be quick, or you're not quick, or you're done for. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to show like you look like you know where you're going and what you're saying, and you know, I see it in my kids, and my kids are pretty much, you know, you're gonna find it once you start. Those kids are pampered, right? So they're pampered and fine, but they know they've got to be really quick. Like, you know, my brother gives it to my sort of 10-year-old little ginger ringlet daughter, and she knows she's got to be on her toes, because that was it. And I think that was sort of the currency in my family as well. Like, my dad was like a proper geezer and all the bants and all that. And if you couldn't keep up with him, even if you were like 6, if you couldn't keep up with him, why are you even at the Sunday table? Do you know what I mean? Why are you here? If it ain't funny, don't chip in, basically. So I think that's the joke in comedy, isn't it? It's like, you don't want the route one low hanging fruit. You got to go for the 7th, 8th thing that the audience ain't even thought of. I thought, well, that's a game I've been playing my whole life. You go harder and quicker than anyone else can do it before you, sort of thing. That's the game. Like, all my brothers and sisters are so funny. Everyone we know is. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's just like, it's just like, yeah, do that or sink or swim, man. Yeah,
because it's like, it's so interesting with like how, unless you've lived in London, how each part of London is so different, but like, we're all the same. But if if someone's from East, like, you can go out and be like, where are you from? You're from East, isn't it?
Oh, yeah,
like, it's such a weird thing that we're able to do.
Even down to like, if you're abroad and if like you hear, I can hear like a Dagenham accent or an Ilford accent or like customised Canning Town, because they're built different. Do you know what I mean? I spoke to a girl the other day and I knew she was East, but I couldn't place her accent. And I'm thinking, and she was Isle of Dogs, and I thought, that's it, because you're on the island.
Yes,
I just thought that was so individual as well. And it is, you just have that comfort. I've met comedians on circuit and I just know they're from East.
You know what's always funny for us lot from being from South London is that in East, you guys would have different words.
Yeah.
So one of the words when I was young growing up one of them was nang.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's this, man? What are you lot talking about, man? It's like, yeah, bro, that's nang, bro. And we was like, my friend's like, nang, brother, what is this word they're talking about in East? I think one of them was a muck. It's like, bro, you're a muck, bro. It's like, what?
I know. Well, I think muck must come from some Arabic, Middle Eastern stuff. Well, I don't know where that comes from.
I remember that word because there was a clash of Dizzy Rascal and Lethal B.
Yeah.
And I remember just hearing it on
Lord of the
tape.
Mics.
Yeah, and it was like, shut up, bro. I'm not a muck, bro. I'm not a muck.
Yeah.
I'm not a muck. And me and my friends are like, hey, bro, what's that?
Yeah, that's funny. My brother used to edit those. That's where it's funny.
Really?
Yeah. So he's sort of been deep, sort of. Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. He's done a few like grime videos and that, so I just love it. I know, like, it's mad, those sorts of stuff. Because I think peak took a long time, or peak and a myth that weren't in East for a long time. You know, when people are like, oh, that's peak, or oh, that's a myth. People go, oh,
hey, bro, that's a myth, bro.
Yeah,
that's a myth, bro.
And what was it? But yeah, because another one where we go, it's like trust me, we go, yeah, chus. But C-H-U-S.
Oh, that is a real old school, you know.
Old school.
Yeah. Trust.
Yeah. Or they go skiing, and then I'll still drop a chief. If someone, me and my mates will still, and I've got mates that are like right Essexy, and they'll go, I'll probably just cotch on something, like just cotch or where's a?
That's so
old school. A cotch, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then we'll go just being a chief. Like, we'll talk about our own kids. We're in a group chat. We're like, just being a chief today. And it's like our 5-year-old daughter. And it's like, let it go. You're in your 40s.
It's so mad because also like when there was slang when I was younger and I'd hear some of the elders say it, and then like one of them was star. That was a big one.
Oh yeah, star was,
Is that what you saying? Yeah, star. And I'm like, star? I'm like, I heard it recently and I was like, bro, you must have just got out of prison, because who is still saying that? Like, I remember being young and like seeing some of the elders on the block and that. Do you remember Yes Yes? Do you remember that one?
Yeah, yes,
With
yes.
the double head nod. Yes, yes.
And we'd get this guy. Someone would say, "Yosh, my size." They'd say that. I'd be like,
Oh yeah.
"Hello."
Yes.
And yes. What else? Oh yeah, funny ones like that. But yeah, when people still drop them, you go, but there was always people go, anyway, tutus. Do you know that one? We go, tutus now, yeah.
That one got definitely taken over by little middle class white girls that were just like, oh my god, like tutus,
have they tutus
I'm like
it?
talking to like Brandon, and I'm like, oh no.
You're cute. But you asking about whether I was a cool teacher, yes, I was in a lot of respects. But the minute you try and be cool, just go away.
Oh yeah.
Like sometimes I try and play tunes, and they go, "How do you know about this tune?" It'd be like, Biggie Smalls, Juicy. But like, because I was your age when it came out. Like it's my song. But the minute you try and be cool or try and use any sort of slang, they're like, I would rather die than hear a old white woman say that word.
It's when teachers do it now, or people that are like my age, and I'm like, come on, man, you're too old to be using. Yeah, man, you know what I mean? Like, she ain't got no riz. I'm like, bro, you are 35. That's not what? How old is this girl you're talking to? Because it's not the word you should be using. Do you know what I mean?
You feel it, don't you?
Yes.
But it's almost It's like comedy, like we were talking about comedy. You can feel it when something don't ring true, and the audience can. They're like, I had a silly joke about something, but like flashbacks from your 20s, and I went, "Cool, the group chat," and there was a little hesitation. I thought, "Oh yeah, I didn't have group chats in the 20s," and it was just a little joke. But I thought they can feel things that don't ring true, and people. But the problem with slang is you start using it as a joke, and then you start using it.
Sorry, 1 second, Laura. What's up? You're probably watching this right now, and if you are enjoying it, I ask 3 simple favors. That's it. Then you can enjoy the rest of this episode. Please like. They're so important for us. Please engage. Give us a little comment, man. What do you like about the episode? What do you want to see more of? Who would you like to see? What could we improve, maybe? And most importantly, subscribe. It's going to come up right now. There we go. All right, cool. Let's carry on with the episode. I was in Australia and we was doing these meet and greets, and these 2 Australian girls, and they must have only been like 18, 19. And it was like, the first thing the girl said to me, she was like, "Mo, suck your mum." I was like, sorry. I was like, what? I was like, I was so jet lagged. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Suck your mum with a smile. I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, mate, can you say it? Say the phrase, mate. Well, we watch your comedy, mate. Suck your mum. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
Don't ever say that to anyone else.
If we were in prison, I'd be slicing you with a tuna can.
I said, listen, man, I know we're in Australia, but don't go up to people and say that. It's like, you'll die. You'll just die.
Red rag to a bull.
Oh, man.
Suck your mum.
Suck your mum. The way she know that, suck your mum. I paused. I said, "Hey, Gerard, who's she talking to, bro?"
Is that a bit?
It took me out, and I was like, "Oh, okay. They've seen some of my comedy. Now that's their in it. Fucking hell, man.
Yeah, that's your merch for the next tour. Is that a bit yet? You got to do that. That's so funny. Suck your mum.
But speaking of comedy, like when you started, you've been doing comedy for what? 5? Like I feel like your rise was extremely quick.
Yeah.
And I think, do you know what it was as well with your rise as well? Because I think you were one of those comics that off the back, like, you're extremely relatable.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You was one of those comics that like you're very relatable, but also you have a gift of you're very likable. And to have both is quite, I believe it's quite rare.
Yeah.
I don't mean to say that every comic isn't likable, but I've been instantly where people just be like, I just like that person.
Yeah.
I'm going to their gig.
Yeah.
Like, where you've got some people like, oh, they're really funny, I'm going to go to their gig.
Yeah.
But I feel like you have a really unique gift of like, you're someone who's very funny, but you're also very likable. And again, I always feel like when it comes to being a comic, it's like my belief is you don't have to be the funniest person on stage. I think as long as you are confident in your material, however you do it, whether you're witty or political or silly, as long as you're confident in it, you'll always make people laugh. But then it's always having those little tick boxes of like, oh, I feel like I know this woman.
Yeah,
She's like
yeah.
my mate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it sort of links back to myself as a teacher, and I've always worked with young people, and I always think comedy should feel safe and kind. And that's not to say you can't say raw things or mad things, but you can say that with a smile. It's like when you've got a mate that says these outrageous things and you go, but somehow they can get away with it because you feel safe in their presence. And when someone's not sure about themselves, you don't feel safe in their presence. It's like if you're dating and it's like, oh, can I kiss you? Well, you could until you did that. Do you know what I mean? You need to know someone's sure about what they're doing.
Yes, man.
And so I think people feel safe in my comedy, even, and I say some mad stuff, but they're like, oh, okay, she said it, so it's all right. And that's where the confidence comes from. And in terms of being likable, it's like, you know, the comedy I grew up in, I came at it late. I was in my late 30s, so I knew who I was when I started. Do you know? And there was no sort of waiting for permission. It's vital, isn't it?
Yeah, man. When you know who you are, you don't get like gassed about things that if you didn't know who you are, you could lose yourself.
Yeah, listen, I don't think I could have done it in my 20s. I sort of joke about young guys on the second, but I just don't know how they do it. That confidence to get up there, and actually sometimes they're doing it for a long time, but it's more because, you know, you've got to bed in who you are. And I'll give you an example. You know, if you're on holiday with a group of you, and everyone's sort of like, oh, should we eat here? Should we do this? If you've got a mate that goes, do you know what? I've booked this restaurant at 7. Everyone get in the shower and meet you in the foyer for a drink at 6:30. Everyone goes, ah. Oh. Mo, but do you know what I mean? Everyone relaxes, don't they, Mo? Everyone's just like, you can be too, So when you're just sure of what you're doing, people just go, yep, I'll follow that guy. And you know, I like to think I'm likable because, you know, I'm a huge fan of yours, and where your blow up was so like with the Instagram and everything, but all the couple of it was just this. Everyone just felt safe, but with you, didn't they? Because it was that feeling of like, you know, he knows people. You know, he knows black people, white people, nutcases off the estate. You know, there was just this massive sort of feeling of, like this is representing stuff we all recognise, and it was just so like. And so it's nice that's a nice compliment to come from you, because I would just...
Yeah, man, 100%.
My mum loves the Channel 4 advert where they gave the feedback. Have you seen the Channel 4 advert where they listen to the feedback and then you come up and it goes, no one had anything bad to say about Mo? Because the way my mum loves you, do you know what I mean? So it was this... And that's what they said about Mo. You know, like it's that kind of... But it's true. It's like...
You got mumsy, man.
Yeah, 100%. But... I think you can say crazy things and true things and harsh things, and it's almost a relief to people as long as it's said nicely, because actually we're all alone in our mad little thoughts. And so that's when comedy steps in and goes, actually, don't you view it a bit like this? And people go, oh yeah, thank God, yeah. I was pleased when Trump banned paper straws, actually. Thanks for saying it. I hate them.
Oh, phew. Oh, I can breathe now. Well, like 5 months in, you won a Funny Woman Award as well, right?
Yeah.
That's a big deal, man.
That is a big deal.
Especially 5 months into comedy.
Wild. But
Yeah,
I just went out all guns blazing because I was teaching full time. I had 3 kids. I weren't here to mess about. I weren't here to have a few pints and go for drinks afterwards. I was here. I came, you know, I won't make no bones about it. I didn't have time to mess about. So I did I just submitted my video a couple of days before it closed and then got through it. And there was just this feeling when I got to the final, I thought, God ain't brought me this far to be a runner-up. I just had this feeling.
Did you also like look at who you was up against? You're like, oh, funny then, man.
Forensically,
yeah.
And I mean, forensically, I went to see them in. I thought, because I think I have got a bit of a. We all have a competitive mentality, and I'm not shy
Especially
about
in a competition, man.
Oh yeah, it's a competition.
Real, man.
But I have to know what I'm up against. So I thought, me on my best day,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just making sure, I guess, in that moment you're like, as long as I do what I need to do, it will hit where it needs to hit. Yeah. And also knowing that you're like, I guess at that point, like, I've got nothing to lose from this. Yeah. And like, I've done some of those competitions. I obviously didn't do Funny One, but I've done like Amuse Moose, Laughing Horse. None of them I won, but like, you know, I might get like third place. One of them I got like, I think one of them I didn't win, but it was like most notable thing or whatever.
Oh, that's
innit?
nice, yeah.
So a part of me, I was just like, even if I don't win, I know that eventually one day I'm gonna be touring and everything else.
Yeah.
And this is just my catalyst to, but also I just knew that, you know, you go and do the final in Edinburgh, I was like, I just know my audience ain't here though.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean?
And that's when they talk about, you know, the odds being stacked against you. You know, I'm doing... Edinburgh is for a certain type of consumer and, you know, often people rush to do their hour and they're not even doing it in the clubs. I hand on heart wanted to be a club comedian. You know, I've met Richard Blackwood for the first time just at Glastonbury recently, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I grew up watching, big bombastic comics at like Hackney Empire and Stratford Theatre Royal, you know, these mixed bills where... that's what I thought comedy was.
Yeah,
I didn't know comedy could be all, I'll say, you know, I didn't know it could be like that. I thought you had to be big, bold, Mickey Flanagan, Peter Kay, you know,
man.
big acts. That's who I like. So I came out like that. And so I make no bones about it. Give me the clubs. And even when, you know, that this industry is not always straightforward, you get a lot of knocks. And I have to always remind myself that if I spent the rest of my life as a club comedian, that is joy to me.
Oh man, being a working club comic is like, it's not for the faint-hearted.
No,
you know?
no.
It's really not. But I think I'd always take that over just going to Edinburgh every year and doing an hour, because I think I know that my audience ain't there, and for some people their audience is there. They're very successful there. I just knew going there was no one that felt like I could relate to. That was just like, cool. You know, there's some acts that perform that I was like, oh, this is really good, really talented. But I know, like, I ain't selling out a show back to back for a month.
No.
I just know that.
Yeah.
Like, you got Americans there like, oh my God, the castle, man. You got the cannon.
Yeah.
I was going to watch some comedy. They're not seeing me.
No.
Like,
and you don't want that. And did you come up on the black circuit, urban circuit more?
man. Yeah. So the black circuit was my route in. And then I knew from then on, I was like, okay, I want to try and do some other shows now. So I tried my stint at trying to do some of the clubs, Up the Creek, Top Secret, you know, boat shows, and then do some of these other smaller shows outside of London, you know, which were shows that, like Bracknell Comedy Club, for example, where I was like, oh, all right, cool. And you go down, there's a little cellar and it's packed room. And it's just mainly locals that go there. But then realising, I was like, oh, right, these don't really like it.
Yeah,
they really like, but then going to Edinburgh was like, okay, cool, I'm going to perform every day. And I think there is the hard graft. And I always say, like, to comics, just go there, even if you just watch.
Yeah.
Because you might go there and say, do you know what, I want to test myself to see if I can. And we had shows where people would come and they would laugh, but just knowing that, like, after, like, you know, like when the real people of Edinburgh, they don't even go.
No, I know.
And that's when you're a bit like, right, not even the real Scottish people of Edinburgh go.
Yeah, it's not a fair.
I mean?
It's not a fair. I think it's not a fair playing field in the sense of people intellectualise, people self-edit when they're too kind of academic as well. So even in the crowd, they're like, am I allowed to laugh at that? Even, you know, or what have you. I mean, going from the black circuit to the mainstream circuit is just like, you think, oh, this is easy. Because going from the mainstream circuit and doing black circuit is, you know, listen, if you have a great gig, you have a great gig. And it'll be the best gig of your life. But what I've realised is they don't care about you. They care about, you're going, you know what it's like when you don't go, I went on a date. You say, you know what it's like, you go on a date. You know, he's already splitting the, you know, whatever you say, you because it's like it's such a different beast of like, you have to bring it harder, because and I think that's like, good.
It's almost like, I'm going to take you the honest journey. We're on board, as opposed to, hey, follow me where I'm about to take you. Because you're like, okay, cool. Well, is this even comedy now? Because this sounds a bit like therapy, bro.
I know,
You know what I mean? Where's the big laugh? Where's the gag?
I know, and it's that. It's like, I love this quote that says, the audience don't come to see you, they come to see themselves. I love that quote. I love it. And it's just
How
like...
did you find Edinburgh when you was there?
Oh, I mean, I've never really done a full Edinburgh. I did two. I mean, I'm like I say, I work smart, not hard. I did 2 nights of my tour last year. On the week I knew all the industry were up, so I'm like, yeah, come for them 2 nights.
That's the good nights, man. Yeah.
Come and see me then.
When all the industry people come, you're like, yeah, man, let's just get booked and busy. Right here, let's not fuck around.
Yeah, I mean, they pulled my sitcom a week later. Thanks a lot, but no, I'm just whatever. The industry's what it is. Yeah. But I don't. I had one good one all right one. I'm doing 3 days whip this year because I do like seeing other comedians and all that, but I'm not bothered. Give me the clubs, give me the King Gong, give me the blackout at UTC. Like I'd do that. Do you know? I love it. I love the green rooms. I love the circuit. I love the weirdos. I love the good people. I love a bit of a gem of advice.
I think when you're in that mix of, especially doing stand up, of when you first start as well, it's really being like a fly on the wall where you're like, oh, so that's the process of how you write a show. Or like you'll be around a comic who is really big and you're like, oh, I didn't know that you're really nervous about this. And you got, you're writing down or how their process is, or like, I often find when I'm around a lot of the younger guys, they want to pick my brains and be like, oh, can I ask you this and ask you that? And I'm like, because I have to be very chill before a show. All that pacing up and down and writing, and I'm like, I can't do it, man. Yeah. People see me before a show and be like, why are you so chill? And I'm like, bro, like, I have to treat this like how I am off stage. Is by the time I go on stage, it feels the same. I feel the same comfortability to talk to an audience.
I'm with you on that.
You found a lot of success very quickly to the point where you're not, you're supporting people like, Jack Whitehall. How did that feel, being around comics that were like really established and, supporting them on tour and being around them? Was it like a sponge to just really understand how they work? And because, how was that for you? Jack
Whitehall did huge ones. So I did an arena for him. I did smaller venues and then did the arena. And it's a different string to your bow then, isn't it? I mean, you, as someone who has sold out O2 Arena.
Hey man, that's what they said on the streets, man.
Yeah, it's a different. you play big, but you also realise you got the screens of your face, so you can still play small. You're taking time, and I think support is a different thing. You start realising that it's not a club 20, and it's not about you, and it's not this. You kind of are setting it up. There's things like you might say, "Oh, are you talking about that?" I won't cover that. And do you mention having a kid, or do so you don't want to cover any ground, you don't want to do anything too raw, and because someone like Jack Whitehall, because of all the telly he's done, he's got kids that like know him from loads of different things. I was surprised at how broad his audience were. I don't know whether I thought it would just be like, I always have this half of mind that an audience is just like the person they're coming to watch. I suppose from a lot of things you've done, you've got such a broad sort of spectrum of audience as well. But so it's a different skill. And I'm always just like, I make no bones about it. I'd love to sell out the O2 one day. I want to do those big things. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I just want it all. I just want to give it all, both barrels. I don't see any limits on that, and not in a grabby, I want what someone else has got away. But
you have to, man.
I picture the big stuff.
Yeah, you have to. As a comic,
makes you happy.
You definitely have to visualize that as your career, as a milestone, to say like, that's one of the benchmarks to play, especially being from London as well. In terms of an arena that is accessible and in touching distance, it's like, well, that's where I want to play. Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong in that at all.
Yeah, so man. I just love the experiences of doing that. My tour, my debut tour went crazy, and that's just not even like, it started off as 20 dates, ended up as nearly 50. I sold out Leicester Square Theatre. I thought, oh, that felt big. And then I did Hackney Empire. Oh, that felt big. And then I did O2, Indigo O2, but that was nice and big. I've sort of got my sights on Apollo, which felt great. I opened for Kay Kurd at Apollo, which was just such a great feeling, because there's something about Apollo as well that feels small in a weird way.
It does.
It's built to perfection for what we do, I suppose. So, that's the next goal. I just always like, it's a bit of an Oprah thing where she says, what's the next right thing? And so I just like that kind of, what's the next right thing for me? It always feels, don't go too big, just like, okay, that's bigger. Your circle gets bigger, man, of where you're comfortable. So all those tour supports were the start of that, which is great.
Because that's where we're kind of at in your career now, is where you're in your middle, where, you're building yourself up as a household name, and you're doing these bigger shows. How do you find it when you start doing these bigger shows and more success comes? Because the minute I started doing the bigger shows, I had to think more about, okay, cool, I can't, if I'm on a club set doing the 20s, I can kind of fuck around a little bit.
Yeah.
But now, you Hackney Empire, Indigo, you're like, oh, this isn't like, as much as there's the tour support where you're like,
yeah,
and I say this to anyone who ever supports me, and I say, listen, go and do whatever you want.
Yeah.
We might have the same similar thing,
Yeah.
but it's fucking fine, man.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
worry
yeah.
about it. But also knowing, I'm just like, treat this like your show as well.
Yeah.
Like, envision it and believe that this will be you in 12 months' time.
Yeah.
But the reason why I ask is, how do you start to now tailor your stuff now to these bigger audiences where you got more demand or people have seen you on television?
Do you know, it's really funny because at the start of my career, as I left teaching, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, which I've talked about on shows and stuff. And I really thought that when I was getting my hour together, I think this is a bit of an Edinburgh thing, and when I was getting my tour together, that would feature really heavily, right? As though this is my story. But as soon as them tickets started selling out, I was like, that old school thing in me was like, nah, they've paid good money. These are working people, paid good money. I'm giving them a show, wall-to-wall jokes. The way it was like, it went on sale, and then I felt that obligation to give them a good show. So I know exactly what you're talking about. If it ain't funny, it ain't in the show. And it's like, I wanted it stacked with jokes. And now I'm starting to do my work in progress for the next one, and I know they're bigger. I want to give them a good show. And it is that feeling of like, all my gold was in that first show because everything I've been working
exactly
on.
It. And that never goes.
No.
Yeah.
But I know that I'm a different beast now from doing all those shows. And I think the other thing I want to step into is, in this middle awareness, without sounding too much of a wanker, is that people are fans of me. It's not like the club where I'm like, I've got to show you what I've got. They're fans of me. And actually there's a little bit now where I'm aware that I can just enjoy letting them in a bit more. This is me, and having jokes and all that sort of stuff. I mean, I watched. It was just a small clip from Top Secret of Judy Love the other day, and it was just a couple of people walking in late, and you just watched Judy do this. It's pretty much all her. And she just held this space for so long, and it was like she was just being Judy Love, and I thought, and it was gold. When I tell you, I think she must have said 2 sentences, but the way she held this laugh, and I thought, she's a star, she is. Do you know? Not that I don't want to copy, but I'm saying it's that feeling of she really knows how to be Judy Love, and I think I've got to learn to really enjoy being Laura Smyth.
Yeah, you definitely have to play into who you are and what your audience wants from you. Because the minute you go away from that, like, you can see where an audience can have a disconnect. So it definitely makes it harder to write, because you're like, I know my audience has a relatability. Yeah. But also they know that my life has changed somewhat. Yeah. Because you do a post in your house and you talk, and people are looking. Because I am. Yeah. Like, so you know that, like, I'm like, I know my audience know that I've changed. If I'm doing X, Y, Z, they know that my life has changed. But what brought you in is that I'm myself. Yeah. So it's trying to keep that fine balance of, like, saying like, yeah, like I do this. Yeah. But I am also, like, starstruck if I meet X person. Do you know what I mean?
And I at your Up the Creek gig, there was that really nice bit where you were talking about being in Japan and trying to communicate with the guys. Yeah. Now, a lot of people that have been with you and followed your stuff from the beginning, no shade, are not going on, work trips to Japan.
Oh, they're not fun going to Japan. But they're like, nah, bro, this is expensive, man. Yeah,
but you still are, however successful you are, and also people have contributed to success in the sense of everyone's backed you to be successful, so they like it. Do you know what I mean? They like your success, but you are still a South Londoner in Japan,
100%.
and that is everyone can then still relate to yeah, if I was a South London, I would be watching this food be cooked and trying to have this conversation in the same way. So you still find your ins, don't you?
Yeah,
I mean, like
man.
Mickey Flanagan's got that joke going, oh, I know all about the cost of living crisis. My driver don't stop going on about it. That's still so Mickey, isn't it? And like, I mean, I saw Catherine Ryan, it was when she did her Louis Theroux thing and she was working out some activity at Top Secret, some material at Top Secret. Said like, she was referencing like, so you guys got a heated pool, like you know what I mean? There's that sort of, you can play with it. The comedy still wins, doesn't it? The funny still wins, doesn't it?
How do you find the balance now? Also, because social media's become such a big part now, and a lot of comedians who I meet now, who have got into do stand up. Let's say post probably 2016 now, where like social media is now such a huge part of a stand-up comedian's arsenal of posting, the clips you do, sharing your tour. Because I know to this day that it's social media that, obviously, I know that social media got me where I am, but when there's new gigs and stuff, I can't just rely on Live Nation have posted it, it's on the website.
Yeah.
You're probably checking now. They're like, nah, bro, unless you post it, I don't know.
Listen,
do you know what I mean?
Oh, you got to do it all and then stick a broom up your arse and sweep the floor while you're at it. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what I think though? It's got to feel authentic. No, sorry. But I think again, it's got to feel authentic. I might do some to camera stuff if something makes me laugh, or I'll do a daft impression and then get told off because I'm being out of order or what have you. But it's got to feel authentic. Anyone that knows how to, like make sketches and all that, fair play to you. I don't know how to do it. But I am aware of like, I'll share a lot of my stories because I'm aware I've got a following. So I make sure it's active and all that sort of stuff. But, I never do anything that doesn't feel comfortable. And I make a lot of time for my fans, Like if someone's messaging me, I'm messaging them back, and I've still got a scale where I can do that. And so, I'd rather cultivate that. But yeah, I'm never going to do anything like TikTok. I used to really maintain my TikTok, and I'd pay someone to do my reels. But I find it hard work, so I just let it. I've just watched it plummet. I hemorrhage followers, but I'm like, because I don't want to do it.
Yeah,
and I don't want to be a slave to anything really. So yeah, I like Instagram. I'm off Twitter. I've sort of had to get a Facebook. I don't really know what I'm doing there either. But like, I like Instagram, so I like it as a medium. I share stuff I find funny. People get to know me. I share a little bit about what me and the kids are up to. I'm not like a mum influencer or anything. So, I just do it with all of that. But yeah, when my tour finished, I was like, oh, thank God I'm not on the sales. I thought I was in a marketing team. The exhaustion of it all, mate. I was just like, what? So it is a pressure, isn't it? Like, just final few, still 500. Final few left, still 600 actually. Like, you've got to keep that foot on the gas, mate. It is.
Yeah, you can just give it a push this weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, how many tickets are there? Like, what, 100? No, there's like 400. You're like, who the fuck is coming? It's in 48 hours, man. But then it's mad because they will come.
They will come.
Like, you'll walk on stage and you're like, fuck, where the fuck did you lot come from, man?
Central Tickets, that's where I'm from. Or when you've got to ask other comedians like, oh, Mr. Whitehall, Jack Whitehall, sir, just wondering if you can add this to your story, sir? It'd be ever so kind. That's how you've got proper cap in hand, like, and not to trouble you, Miss Ryan, Catherine Ryan, you've been a great supporter of my work, Mr. Gilligan. I've done it to you before. I just wonder if I could trouble you for a quote for me poster. Like, you feel like you feel like a muck. That's what you feel like.
But you know what you have to though?
Yeah.
Because if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
know.
Like, and like, I think that's the thing. Like, because I feel like you're a comic that's come like that kind of post social media where the social media game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And not to say about the comedians that haven't, but if you was able to do like a live at the Apollo where you can it goes on television.
Yeah.
And I remember there was a time when I used to see it where they go on television, before you know it, their tour would sell out.
That's it.
Do you know what I mean?
It hasn't got the same clout now. I think, you've got the Taskmasters and Last One Laughing that's got the same clout. But yeah, Live at the Apollo made, I always joke going, I've done live at the Apollo, like on my stage, and I go, anyway, here I am, hello Bracknell. Do you know what I mean? I thought it was going to change my life. But the clipping of those things is where the value lies.
Most definitely. Social media has definitely changed that.
You know, I've got sort of 50,000 followers, but what I have got is 50,000 majority female, majority 35 to 44. So when it comes to buying tickets, they're buying tickets where, you know, a young comedian could have 500,000 million TikTok followers, and then they go on tour and they're like, no, I'm 17. I don't have tour ticket money. Do you know what I mean? So there's it's like conversion, isn't it? Like there's a conversion rate. I sound wicked, but you know what I mean. It's true. You can.
No, it's true. Because I think what people forget to realise when it comes to going out is that there's an older audience out there who they work and they're like, what do I spend my money on now?
Yeah.
And as much as I think when you're in your your early 20s, it's I want to go out, I just want to buy the top from this place.
Yeah.
I want to get that thing. But then you get a bit older and you're like, I just want experiences now.
Yeah.
And my experience are date nights, all the girls going out, all the guys going out.
Yeah.
I mean, ton of guys and be like, yo, Mo, when's the next show? I want to come, man. I said, bro, go and take your woman, man.
Yeah.
Bring your woman, make it a date night.
Yeah.
And he said, hey, bro, yeah? Is that, yeah? I said, bro, let's do that, man. Hey, brother, hey, I'm going to do that, you know? And I said, that's because that's where you are in life now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you and your friend, you and your boy going to a comedy show, he's probably going to be like, hey, bro, I can't lie, I don't know about this, you know, bro. There's two men up.
Yeah.
But I say, like, go with your group of guys.
Yeah.
Girls, go with your girls. Like, go as a couple, because also I know that your expenditure can make you do that. Do
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
What I mean?
And
that's why I say, like, if you're 16, it's all right. I'll do the social stuff for you.
Yeah.
But I just know that you're not my target audience.
No.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And it is, but funny, when you really did blow was that sort of 2017, 2018 off socials when you went on tour, and you did, because my daughter came, my nephew.
Big ups.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I was going to take her and her friends to. You did a sort of matinee Leicester Square Theatre 2018.
Yeah.
And it was really funny. So there, it so blew up that you do have that cross section, and actually all those people now, those 50 are all in their 20s and having girls' night out.
And they tell me, they're like, oh, we seen you when I was like 15, and I'm like, fuck, I'm old, man.
I know, it feels like that.
Shit.
But you so appeal to everyone, and that is nice to cultivate that. And I love it when I get, because I do stuff about my daughter and everything, I get mothers and daughters coming. I get lads, do you know what I mean? I get like the Prosecco Huns, obviously, they dominate. But you know, and then I get the older people, and I get people that, like the teachers crew, do you know what I mean? And it is nice when you think, like, it is a nice feeling, and I've seen it at your shows as well, where it is like couples and the girls and all this sort of stuff. You know, it's nice. You want to feel like that, innit? You want to feel like everyone's, you know, at the party. It feels like family party vibes. I always say my crowd are like a wedding of a dysfunctional family. You know, like everyone's there, but we somehow make it work.
Yeah.
I often sometimes think about my dad, old school EastEnders, coming back in this day and age and seeing how we're living. Filming everything we're doing, telling everyone our deepest, darkest, promoting. I think he'd look at us like we were an alien race. He would think, "What are you doing? This is someone that didn't speak on the phone." Do you know what I mean? Like, he would think we've all lost our goddamn minds. Who wants to know? Do you know what I mean? So I sometimes I still have that view where I'm like, you know, because also I know people that, like, you know, it's like when you slide in someone's DMs and go, yeah, but actually, I know. Like, I saw someone promote something the other day. Thanks for all your likes and comments about this show. And I went, you ain't had none, have you? None.
Listen,
none at all.
The one that gets me is be like, a lot of you guys have been asking. Come on, we wasn't asking, man.
No one asked
about
your concealer.
Because otherwise, you just say, guys, this is the thing that I bought.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah, but. It's not. A lot of you guys have been asking me when the 3 people,
no one
man.
Asked. No one
3
asked.
people.
No one
2
asked.
of them had burner accounts because they were pussy holes. Like, that's another thing that gets me. Like, as much as I love social media, like, I love reading the comments, but every part gets to me where I'm like, if you need a burner account, like, it's such a different level of pussy.
Say it with your chest, man. Just tell me I'm an idiot.
Let me go on your page and see your face, at least. And give a scroll and be like, you're fucking ugly children, bro. How dare you?
Yeah.
But then leave it there and say, you know what? Cool. At least your profile's open,
Yeah.
but the fact that you go on a burner account and then say, I need to say this, but I can't let them know it's me. It's like, you are. It's just a scumbag pussy reel.
I know.
Do
And
you know what I mean?
It's just wanting to, because we do read them, it's just that little thing of they want to take you down a peg or two. They just want to chip away at you slightly.
I know,
and you think,
but with a burner.
I know.
It's just so like... Just say it with chest, man.
But when and even that, like, there's so many things. Like, I have a joke about people making horrible comments on, some of my videos from Live at the Apollo, and I go, it made me cry in my new bathroom. Fuck 'em. Do you know what I mean? Because sometimes you've got to just laugh because it hurts for a minute, and then you laugh.
Oh man, I've had those moments, boy, where I'm like, what am I moaning about? And I look around, I'm like, how bad could it be, man?
Yeah.
If this is the tip of the iceberg, hey, this is a fine tip.
This is what I mean. I'm doing good,
all right.
and Dave from Chingford, thinks I'm not funny. It's all right.
Yeah, it's okay, man. Don't worry, man.
My agent, my PR team, and my accountant think I'm funny. I'm good.
Yeah, Susie Ruffle said, "All right, I'm not funny, but my house says that I am." So go with that, and that was a
My house says that I am. Good girl, Susie.
So your end, right? Your end is interesting because you did get diagnosed with cancer as well.
Yeah.
And does that kind of like shape like your legacy in some ways? Because you had chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and then you appeared on like Live at the Apollo, like literally after you had like treatment and stuff.
Yeah.
But is it like, because it really gives me this, I don't know, it's just like to be at that stage of your life, but also know that you want to provide everyone with joy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is also something where you're like, I don't know, I don't know what that must feel like, but I must imagine there must be like, for your legacy of, moving on and what you want to do for your career, it must be like, well, I can literally do anything.
Yeah.
It must feel like, almost like, I don't know, you ever watched a superhero film where someone knows they have the power, but they ain't tested it out yet?
Yeah.
And we're just waiting to be like, Superman, just fucking fly, bro.
Yeah.
We know you can do
Yeah.
it. Do you know what I mean? How does that start to shape like your legacy in some ways in your end?
Absolutely everything, because we all know we're going to die. But a cancer diagnosis will really get you facing your mortality.
Yeah, man.
And, and I saw it as a death sentence. I really did. And I had to dig so deep to undo some stuff in me, because I thought, live or die, I don't want to carry anything in me that doesn't serve me anymore. So how am I trying to say this? Like, my life hasn't always been easy, and it's been a fight. And before, I kind of, there were things in my childhood that might have been tough, and there were things, and you say that, and it's like people go, "Oh, she had a tough childhood." I'm not talking about my mum and dad and all that. I'm saying childhood is tough. Things weren't straightforward, and I lost my dad when I was young. I've been through some stuff. I was a young single mum. I've been in temporary accommodation. Even going back to uni with my daughter, these are the beginnings. These are tough beginnings. And me and my friends talk about, we've had a hard life. We always say soft life now, because then all of a sudden, I quit work, ready for this career, and I was crunky about it. I was like, oh, get this and get that. And I thought, when that diagnosis, it's weird. You go, oh, I just want to be alive. That's all I want. I want to be alive. And if that's your baseline, to be alive, you really don't want to, I don't want to beat cancer, if anyone ever does, or get well again to live my life on anyone else's terms. It has to be on my terms, my life. And I fully, wholly embrace the joy of my life. And as much as I always said the doctors can treat the cancer, but I did a lot of alternative stuff. I did a lot of sort of alternative therapies. I did a lot of healing, right? And what that taught me is how much I lived sort of gritted teeth and in the future, and if this, and in the future. I've learned to be very present. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow. I have to check my Google. I check it because you have to be present, because there's only now. So I really love people, and I really love myself. I said this thing where when I got diagnosed, I thought, at least it ain't happened to someone I love. And then I thought, I don't count myself as someone as I love, someone I love. So I really got busy working out how to really love myself, not to expect good things for myself, to allow myself to feel the permission to have them, to feel whole in that and be unapologetic in that. And so when I say I want all these big things and I want a big hat, I do. I deserve it. I've played small before. I've played humble. I've played paranoid. I've played wanting people to like me. Don't like me. It's all right, John in Chigwell or whatever. Do you know? And it's all right. This might, because I can't live on anyone else's terms. I've done that when I was teaching. Oh, I'm a good girl. Oh, look, I'm married. Oh, I'm this. I don't care. I've got rid of any sort of sense of like shame or playing small. I want to play big because life is big and it's so nice. So I'm so nice. Yeah, that is it. I'm like, I like it. So I like life because I've had to fight for it, and I ain't fought for it to play small. I want it all. Give it to me, both barrels, thanks.
And I really believe that, man. I think like seeing you at the show I done at the Creek a few months ago, and like. Again, I'm not saying it's just because you're here. Like, I had big belly laughs, like, and just seeing in terms of like, from coming from, I guess, like extremely humble beginnings of, in East London to selling out shows, like it's not easy. It doesn't matter what magnitude it is, whether you sell out.
Industry is not easy.
Like 400 can't be taken for granted in central London. Do you know what I mean? It's like. You got to get people to leave their house. They got to buy a train ticket, come up, maybe have a meal, babysitters. Because I know that that's also an audience that we have where, they're like, this is our escapism. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I genuinely see that happening for you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like from when you get to play the Hackney Empires and the Indigos, not easy places to sell out for anyone, and the fact that you've able to do them in such a short time, and knowing that the beauty of comedy is that it's a longevity game as well.
Yeah.
So when you get to do those things early on, everything is just like, I'm on a bonus levels now,
Yeah.
Like, this didn't take me 20 years to do.
No.
And all I also really care about is this. I just want to feed my audience. I just want to make them laugh.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If whatever comes out of it, whether it's the sitcoms or the podcast or the tours, you're like, this is a bonus, because where I'm from, like, people like me don't even understand these situations that I'm in, let alone experience them as well.
That's it.
Do you know what I mean?
There was sometimes like my best mate see me where I was doing my Radio 4 show, and she was sort of in the green room, and I had like my PR team and my makeup, and I had a sort of tea room. She was looking like, Laura, like, what is going on? You know what I mean? But she, she loves it. We've been through it together, me and her, and I see how many people you bring through with you. It is like, what's it all? We're doing it for freedom, aren't we? We're doing it for creative freedom, and let's not lie, financial freedom. When you've got options to not go out on a Sunday or a Saturday night, that's what you're doing it for. You ain't doing it to make it hard work. And sometimes things, if they feel hard work, and I don't like doing them. And that not to say I don't like hard work, when they feel like hard work or I'm doing them for the wrong reasons. In fact, the minute I say should, I shut things down.
Yeah.
Or I should do this because if it don't feel like good in my gut, I don't want to do it.
I'm telling you, man, the gut is the real. When you feel it, you're like, something's off here,
Yeah.
I don't know if this is for me today.
Yeah. And it's true. And the minute you can have 100, like, you can have so many voices, and I've got a great agent and we really tussle things out. We'll go through something, we might marinate for a couple of days and go, you know what, I think I've got to say no. And she'll go, yeah, all right, I'm with you, and I love that I've got that relationship. I'd hate to have anything where I felt like you've seen people when they just get really rinsed and you think, who's advising them here? I think sometimes healthy no's are good, didn't they?
Especially, man, it's sometimes the best part of your career, but also the thing that can get you so much more valuable yeses. Of opportunity, of finance, but also of just experience, where the saying no's makes you get bigger yeses. More worthwhile yeses.
But they're scary, aren't they?
Oh yeah, man. You don't want to say no to something and being like, oh my God, have I just said no to what could be potentially the biggest thing ever? But also knowing that you're just like, it's at the time that's not where I was.
Yeah.
You know.
And you know, my kids are such a great filter for that, because I really keep a balance with them. You know, July and August, you're not seeing me do very much, really. Do you know what I mean? That's time with my kids, and I feel like, I mean, I need to start buying a house, because the problem is I started earning some nicer money, nicer than teaching, after getting diagnosed. So as I said to my husband, I said, babes, after skiing and Barbados and Disneyland, we'll start saving. And that's just this shit. But I want to enjoy life.
Yeah,
I don't really care.
Man.
And I think that's another thing from me, a South London and East London thing. But it's like, people are used to feast and famine, because not everyone's making their money clean as well. So, you know, if money comes, you're like, hey!
Oh, like, get rid of it.
And then
that was
it. And then there's struggle days come, and you go, yeah, I can handle that too. So me and my husband joke going, you know, once the tax bill's been paid, you go,
listen,
we can make some dinners out of some lentils, mate. We're like, well, we should save this money, actually, because we're quite good on a budget.
Nothing makes you want to start saving. It's like, yeah, you got to pay your corporation and your VAT. You're like, what? Who fucking ate? You're like, oh shit, it's real.
My first VAT bill was backdated.
It gets real.
Mate,
you're like, this ain't fair. But then you booked the whole. You're on Expedia, like, hides the low. Oh, maybe it comes in half board. I might. Let's keep looking. When you start changing from high to low, because you look at them lows like, oh fuck, who the fuck is staying there? And you're like, that used to be me, you know. It hits different, man.
It's weird, isn't it? And it all happens gradually. So I know I'm still in my middle, but my God, I'm going to be bashy at my end. It's going to be embarrassing. I'm already embarrassed by how she's going to spend money.
Laura, it's been a pleasure, man, just to have you on the pod. Your story, I think, once a lot of people listen to this, is massively inspiring. But, you know, a lot of people often say to me, is like, oh, you know, I want to do comedy, and, you know, like, I don't know. And I just feel like you're such a naturally funny person, and there's so many people out there that I feel like represent like yourself. Do you know what I mean? Where you're like, oh, you know, I'm a teacher from East London, and like, I'm funny, but I don't know how to go about doing it. And just seeing how you can have, you know, you grow up in very humble beginnings, and you have a job, and you're like, I want to do this thing, and it's just like, yeah, like, you know, in 5 months to win an award, and before you know it, you're supporting the likes of, you know, your Jack Whitehalls, and you're doing Live at Apollo. It gives people the, you know, the hopes and the dreams that you're like, oh wow, like, I just feel like I can relate to you. Yeah. And that's what I want to do. Yeah. And I think that's so important for handing over the blueprint to anyone who's like, oh, I just like your comedy, and that's just, this is it. I see myself in it.
To represent people, and you go, and I knew it from teaching. Often it's that crossing the threshold. Like, you know, you take kids on trips, and they didn't know those places were for them. Yeah, they're for you, and that's why representation is so important. Working class representation, you know, black representation of, you know, people saying, oh, look, okay, I see myself in them. So maybe that's something I can access, and it's powerful. So thank you you've given me great opportunities. I was on the Mo Gilligan show. I'm a little 5 minutes long. That was all good. So thanks. You bring a lot of people through, and that's powerful.
No, you have to, man.
I'm not. When I'm as big as you, forget that. I'm pulling up that ladder. Fuck them.
Laura, man, it's been a pleasure, man. But this has been your beginning, middle, and end. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate that, man. Hey, what's up? Thank you so much for listening to the podcast today. Now, a lot goes into making each episode. I know you hear my voice, but there's a team behind the scenes who help make it. And if you did enjoy it, I'd really, really appreciate it if you could show the love to them by giving us 5 stars. And if you also have the time, please leave us a review. It's always appreciated, and we love reading the comments. And of course, we want to keep making it better. Thank you for listening, and have a great day. Peace.